Welcome to Tone Deaf, a theater nerd's guide for their musically challenged spouse. I'm Kay, a musical theater nerd.
And I am Warren 3000, no longer musically challenged. My mind is the internet. I know all lyrics to all media. Human, female, stop laughing. What is it that you find humorous about my superiority?
Oh my gosh. I wasn't sure how you were going to start this, but that is really well related to what this episode is about. This surprise Saturday release episode.
Surprise.
I think I need to recalibrate Warren real quick.
Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop.
You alright, babe?
Huh? What's up? Are we recording?
Yes, we're recording.
Oh, welcome to Tone Deaf. I'm Warren. I'm musically challenged, and did you already introduce yourself?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, this is Kay, and they're awesome.
Oh, gosh.
And they're also kind of a theater nerd.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of, just a little bit.
So today is a special episode because, as I said, we are releasing this episode on a Saturday, which is strange. But today is Saturday, May 30th.
It's strange and unusual, but we ourselves are strange and unusual. Beetlejuice fans will get that reference.
Yeah. I was wondering why, because we're not covering the Beetlejuice musical, babe. We don't have access to it. Yeah, sorry. So, today is the first edition of Kay and Warren-tine. It's kind of an experimental thing that whenever we feel like doing a little special episode here and there, covering a topic that doesn't completely fit into musical theater, then we're just going to do that. And I won superiority because of the day that we're releasing this one.
Kay beat me into submission, you guys.
Yep, I did. Today, we are going to be talking about one of my absolute 1000% favorite actors of all time, Keir Dullea.
Who Kay may or may not have a crush on.
Allegedly. Yes.
Do I need to dig up old fan fiction?
No. No, you don't. I can promise you that. I didn't do fan fiction about crushes, babe. I just did fan fiction about media I was interested in. Yes, I did write 2001: A Space Odyssey fan fiction, but no, it was not crush-related, like anything like that. It was just more alternate ending. It was a lot of AUs. Anyway.
Moving right along. So this episode is going to be still related to theater because Keir Dullea is a actor that has done both stage and screen. But I wanted to celebrate his birthday today by doing this because I haven't been able to draw a comic for him in like years, and he's also like a really awesome freaking guy.
He's a super awesome freaking guy. Oh my gosh, you guys, he's so cool.
Like, even though my wife may or may not have a crush on this particular guy, I've met him exactly once, and just really freaking solid dude.
And you missed the chance that we had a couple of years back to meet him because you were super sick.
Yeah, I was sick.
But we'll talk about that later.
Ignore me!
No!
Oh my God, look at that.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to edit so much.
It's almost like a whale noise.
No! So, I'm gonna take you back to how I kind of got into his movies. So, I don't know when I picked up 2001: A Space Odyssey, the book, but I did. And I read it. And I was immediately just enthralled by it because it just spoke to everything that I liked, like AI, space travel,
interdimensional
aliens, prehistory, like all of that stuff just speaks to me. So I was very interested in it, but
the ending confused the hell out of me. Of the book, not of the... Because I was just sort of like, wait, am I reading this right? Is he in a zoo? What? So
spoilers!
Well, if you... There we go. People who haven't seen the movie yet, you've got a little bit of the explanation from the book. But I watched the movie because I was, confused a little bit about the book. And so I was like, well, maybe the movie will shed some light. And watching the movie, I got struck by Keir Dullea. And then I watched 2010 and was like, holy smokes, this dude is frigging amazing and talented, and also, yes, have a crush.
It's okay.
And so these are the days back when Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and Video Verns all still existed. And so I would go to rent DVDs, because DVDs were a thing at this point. It was after they stopped bringing out VHSs, though. Video Verns did do a big VHS fire sale, and I remember that day, and I still have all those VHSs. But I because of the way that I am, I latch on to something, and I have to consume all media related to it.
When Kay gets their teeth into something, they like a vampire drain it of all that is of it until nothing remains.
You've been enjoying listening to Dracula, haven't you?
I have been enjoying listening to Dracula. I'm currently listening to Dracula on Audible, and it is chef kiss. I'm very impressed with it. Anyway, this isn't about Dracula.
But so I decided to look into shows he had been in, and I found stuff like David and Lisa, which was the first one that I saw of his outside of 2001 and 2010, and it... Y'all, that is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I remember watching that with you and being very... Because that was the thing, too, is I need to preface this with, I like Keir. I genuinely like him. He's a fantastic dude. Before I met him, I did hate him just a little because of how much you liked him. I've got a bit of a jealous streak. I can't help it. But I had seen 2001 A Space Odyssey previously, before you and I ever met.
Yeah.
And then after I met you, we watched some of the other movies that he was in. And David and Lisa was one that really kind of, I want to say, punched me in the brain a little bit, because it kind of forced me to be like, it was like, she likes him more than what you're worried about. He is a talented individual.
Yeah.
He is a good, it was kind of like, okay, not just a good-looking guy that your girlfriend has a thing for. He is a good actor.
Yeah.
And David and Lisa was really good.
Yeah,
that's one of those that I think probably deserves a remaster and a re-release.
There is... I would not mind a remaster and re-release. There is a reboot of it, but I've never seen it. And David and Lisa is based on a play, I believe. So
oh yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Someday. After COVID's over, maybe some theater will put it on.
They can turn it into a musical, and then we'll review it.
Yes. No, you could do that.
They could do a whole song about the murder clock.
I love the murder clock. That was a movie that spoke to me on so many levels when I saw it. So that was the third Keir movie that I had ever seen. And all of these movies you can get access to. Either you can get them on Amazon or eBay. eBay was how I got a lot of my DVDs for a while, because they were just not... Yeah. They weren't on Amazon. They weren't anywhere yet.
It was not the age of instant gratification yet.
Yeah. And, that one, David and Lisa is probably one of the best portrayals of mental illness and the different types of mental illness, especially for the 60s. It's one of the best ones I've seen. It
is for its time absolutely I don't want to say necessarily groundbreaking, but for its time, it is absolutely revolutionary in the way that it portrays that.
Yeah.
It's not just everybody with a mental illness is, a wacko serial killer, your nut job. It's like they were the first ones to be like, well, these are people. These are people with problems.
And they're treated with humanity in it. And being a mentally ill person, and both of us, it very much was like oh, wow, this isn't like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or this isn't, I'm trying to think of other examples.
There's no dipping them in ice baths and electroshocking.
Yeah, it's very, because it was...
No lobotomies?
Which is interesting for the time, because at the time, that was still the treatment. The preferred treatment was like lobotomies and stuff.
We'll keep shocking you until you behave the way we want.
Yeah, and this, they actually show alternative treatments for mentally ill teens with talk therapy and art therapy and all sorts of things like that. And so it's revolutionary to see that. So that was a movie that definitely was like a bing, this dude's an amazing actor. Oh my gosh.
And it's so funny because he has the same curse that Kay and I have with like the perpetual young face.
Yes.
Because I love, what was it? Well, because 2001 came out in
68.
68, thank you. I knew it was late 60s. And then 2010 came out 20 years later?
Yeah, it was in the 80s that 2010 came out.
And I remember we saw a thing with Keir, and he was talking about how he contacted the director, I know you might think that I've aged a lot in 20 years, but you might be surprised. Keir Dullea is one of those guys that you watch 2001, and then if you watch 2010, they don't use any of, it's him. It's him 20 years apart, and it looks the same.
Yeah.
And it's that same kind of thing that it almost makes me laugh, and I'm sure that they didn't ID for PG-13. No, they didn't have PG-13 movie.
No,
anyway,
they did not have PG-13 at the time.
Keir, how old were you when you stopped getting ID'd for rated R movies?
At least once you started growing a beard, we stopped getting ID'd for PG-13.
I grew a beard to try and look older. If I shave it, then it's like, oh, how long have you been out of high school?
Oh, man. So, of course, David and Lisa wasn't the first thing that he did. And there's some good biography stuff out there. I'm just going to kind of give little snippets of info dumping that I can. Without
info dump on us, babe.
Oh, gosh. So, he was born in Cleveland, Ohio. He was raised in the Greenwich Village in New York. He's a graduate of George School, which is in Pennsylvania, and he went to both Rutgers and San Francisco State, and then went into theater. So he went theater first, then screen. So theater first, then screen, because this is the 50s, about 50s. So TV would be just now a burgeoning thing, which, oh my gosh, I want to do a Kay and Warren-tine that's a history of TV. Anyway, after your next one, that might be it.
Kay did a happy little nerd dance, and it kind of reminded me of a penguin.
Oh,
it was really cute.
So, he ended up in New York after doing a lot of regional theater and summer stock, which summer stock still exists.
Is that like Woodstock, but every year? I'm just kidding. I'm not that dumb.
I'm trying to think of places that you would think of as summer stock. Tuacahn kind of is.
Summer stock just sounds like something that runs for the summer and then ends.
Basically, yeah. Tuacahn kind of is, because they're an outdoor amphitheater, and when you go down to perform at Tuacahn, you basically live there.
You live on site?
Yeah, you live on site, and there's one that a lot of folks here in Utah go to that's up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, that they do summer stock up there. And then I guess you could count the Lagoon place, which, why is Lagoon open right now? Anyway.
'Cause money!
Goodness. Anyway, so he goes to New York after doing summer stock and makes a debut in New York in Sticks and Bones. By the way, he's going to be on Broadway during this run of things. I'm working up to him going to Broadway, basically.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but I was already dead because those are my bones. You told me that I can't curse, so I'm relegated to the realm of just bad, stupid jokes.
At least it's not like when we did Black History Month, where we were covering heavy topics and you couldn't curse.
Like I said, that's why you gave me the screaming pillow.
Yes.
So
you don't need a screaming pillow for this one, because it's all good. So he was also in he was on TV in Naked City and Route 66 and Checkmate.
About Route 69.
Warren?
Sorry. Are we still on parole? Oh, we're still on parole. Son of a...
Warren. So, he's done other stage stuff at this point, like in the late 50s, early 60s, but then he gets his film debut in Hoodlum Priest in 1961, which you and I also watched.
What? Oh, we did?
Yes, we watched that one. It's the one with Keir as the youth that ends up getting gassed at the end of it. And it's all about the priest that's talking to these kids that are in prison and stuff. And
I don't think I remember that one.
No worries. I've made you watch a lot of them.
It may... depending on when you had us watch it, it may have also been at one of those periods where, like, you and I were only seeing each other on, like, the weekends.
I think that was it.
So there was usually, like, copious amounts of wine involved with those evenings.
Yes.
And so it could be relegated to one of those memories. Because I do remember the cowboy one as well. Because he was naked in that one. And I was like, oh, I know why you like this one.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. We're getting to that one. Those ones.
Sorry. Please continue, Kay.
So he was in Hoodlum Priest with Don Murray, who you won't remember him in anything except for Hoodlum Priest. So I can't do any real connections of synapses there.
Curse of the Witch.
Curse of the Witch. And he's still pretty young at this time. He's like 25 doing that one, playing a teen. And then
he could do it.
Yep. Yes, he could. And in fact, that leads us to his second film, which is David and Lisa, which is the one that I was gushing about earlier as my third Keir film that I had seen. So, he actually won the Golden Globe for Most Promising Male Newcomer with that one.
Nice.
And I'm like, yes. Needs more awards for that one, but yes. Yes.
I think it'd be fair to say he just needs more awards.
He does need more awards. Keir Dullea for a Tony. Please. Take them all. Even set design. I think I remember when I was, I might have been 20 when I was 20, 21, so right around the time that I met you, I had read a thing that talked about that he did do carpentry as well. So it's like, yeah, dude's friggin' awesome.
You made a joke about that when we watched the next one.
Yes. Okay, I couldn't remember if I had... Okay, so I am remembering things correctly. Synapses are connecting it. Woo! So, he was in Thin Red Line, which you haven't seen yet. And this was the 1964 version. There is a remake of Thin Red Line.
I remember the commercials from when the remake was advertising for theaters.
Yeah, and he was in that one. That's one that we'll need to watch together at some point.
Is that about Vietnam?
No, Guadalcanal, which I think is World War II. And,
Anyway.
Then after that, and that was in 64, so in 65 he does Bunny Lake is Missing, which have seen.
We have seen. Another good... That one was really good, too, and it had such a twist at the end.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect it at all. And so it was very much one of those, like, what a twist!
And that one, Keir has some great stories about Otto Preminger as director, and yeah, that like he was. I tried to remember the line that Keir says.
I remember
that Otto said.
I remember it if you want me to do it.
Yeah,
because I think it was Phoenix Comic Con.
Yes,
so
when
Kay and I first met Keir Dullea.
Well, when you first met Keir.
When you first met.
I met him before I met you. Not like that. It was at Roswellian UFO convention, and it was awesome.
I know. But when I first met him, we went down to Comic-Con in Phoenix. It was before they were doing conventions in Utah and stuff like that. And so we went down to Comic-Con in Phoenix and got to meet him there and stuff. Just like I said, great guy. We had dinner afterwards and stuff, and just really nice to sit down and talk with him and meet him.
Introduced us to Kilt Lifter.
Yeah, it was a good beer. Anyway. So when we were at a panel that he was on that was for 2001, a person in the audience had asked him, what was it like going from, what was the director you just mentioned?
Otto Preminger to
working with
Stanley Kubrick.
Thank you, Stanley Kubrick. And he had said that it was like going from hell to heaven. And he thought, because, he talked about with Otto Preminger, he was always yelling at the actors and he would like throw stuff at them and stuff like that. And one of the actors on stage, I don't remember specifically who, was telling Otto that he needed to apologize because he was just being way too rude and aggressive. And he said, "Fine, I apologize, but you have no talent." And the way that Keir said it, told the story, was way better because of course he was there, so he can tell it better. I'm just going off of
memory.
Oh, like decade-old memories. Wow. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, and that was just so funny.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, it was crazy. But yeah, Bunny Lake is Missing is one that is a rough watch.
Well, I don't know.
It can be.
Okay, so for those who might be interested, Bunny Lake is Missing. The elevator pitch for it is that this brother and sister who are living in England, and the sister has a daughter, and they just barely kind of moved to England. They're getting settled in their new flat, and the daughter goes missing. And the whole movie is about trying to find her. And Keir Dullea's character is really great in it, and just very much like, we will find her, and that is just very. And then there's this reveal later on. And it just kind of inverts the whole show, and it just is. I did not expect it at all.
Yeah,
and it was very like, ooh.
I swear that they kind of remade that with that movie that takes place on a plane flight where a woman's son goes missing.
Was that Red Eye?
No, Red Eye's different. Red Eye has Frankenpen.
I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah.
It's like it's some movie where it's okay. I got you. Like the woman has her child. Okay, I know what you're talking about. The child's missing, and then they're like, "We checked the manifest. You came on board by yourself." And someone's trying to take my child.
Yeah, I get strong Bunny Lake is Missing vibes from that one.
And art imitates itself. And so it's very possible that it was influenced by that.
I almost did the thing that person that you were talking about said with all stories have been.
So slight. Can I tell this story?
Yes, you can. Just change names.
Well, I won't. I will say. So before Kay was working with me when I was working at this place, we were talking. It was an open floor environment, data processing, and we were just kind of talking about movies and books and just stories in general, and we were talking about stories that are similar, and then it kind of broke down to, there's only like 6 stories kind of thing, and everything kind of comes from those and expands. And a coworker pipes up and she goes, "Yeah, and they're all in the Bible." And everybody just went dead silent because nobody wanted to be offensive and say, "You realize that society existed before the Bible. People were telling stories before the Bible, and historians have shown that a lot of those stories are based on other stories." But that's neither here nor there, and now we've gone into somebody's going to be offended.
Tangents, the podcast.
That's us.
So,
Bunny Lake is Missing.
Yes, Bunny Lake is Missing. So that one just like it's a rough watch for me because of the tension. Because I always like tension when shows do tension really well, I have to take longer breaks in between watching them. It's like how it took me years. Like, we watched Get Out when it first came out, and then it was a couple of years later that we could rewatch it again, because I was just like, every time I hear a teacup, I freak out.
No, some movies have that effect.
Yeah.
That they're not the kind of movie that you could pop in and watch every weekend type of thing. And some science fiction movies, I feel that way. Like movies in general, there's a lot of movies I feel that way. Very rarely is there a movie that when it's over, I'm like, man, I want to watch that again. But yeah, that is one of those movies that you watch it and you're just like, whew. Just sit with myself for a moment.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. Y'all, okay, so this is also kind of like a plug for go get these movies if you can find them, because they're good.
Kay and Warren in Kay and Warren-tine just kind of talk about stuff that they like.
Yes, but like this particular episode is go get you all these Keir movies.
Yeah, I'm
giving you film recommendations right now.
Go watch Keir Dullea movies.
So the next one, which isn't the next one. Sorry.
Let me guess. The next one is 2001.
No.
Oh.
It is a groundbreaking film that features lesbians called The Fox. It's a lesbian couple. We have not seen this one yet.
I was going to say, that doesn't ring any bells.
I got it, and it was one of those things where, like, it came in, and then I moved down with you, and then it got lost in the jumble, so it might still be at my mom's house. It might be somewhere else.
So does Keir really flex his range muscles and play one of the lesbians? Kay just double facepalm, but I think that joke is freaking gold. So
Jesus.
I'm gonna fight for that.
No, but he comes in between the two lesbians.
Ha ha ha!
Warren.
I can't not laugh at a setup like that. You know me.
I didn't mean it that way.
You're married to me. You know what to expect.
So, he
comes between the two lesbians.
Yeah. And God, so kind of like a fox in a hen house. That's why it's called The Fox.
Ah.
Yep.
So really he comes between a bisexual and a lesbian.
Yeah. Yeah, but we didn't exist until later, so.
I mean, you still don't, because you're married to me, so you're obviously heterosexual.
And I sometimes wear dresses, so I'm obviously not non-binary. Good lord. Anyway. So we then go from 1967 to 1968 with 2001: A Space Odyssey. Which I have seen 2001: A Space Odyssey now, like, gosh, I don't know how many times, but I've seen it on various large screens, both in movie theaters, in an auditorium, at the Roswellian UFO conference, which...
I love that story. I love that story. So while Kay's laughing, for those of you who may not have seen the movie, and if you haven't, you should go see it.
Go see it now.
Go watch
Turn
it.
off the podcast, go see it now, and then come back.
The beginning, 20, 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Or actually, it might be longer. It might be 90 seconds? Anyway, the beginning chunk of the movie, for a couple minutes, is just darkness and music. And I love when Kay told the story being at the Roswellian convention and the people messing with the projector thinking that it wasn't working because it's not showing the movie, but they can hear the sound.
Yes.
And wasn't it Keir Dullea who had to come up and tell them that this is normal?
I can't remember if he did or if it was someone else who had, if it was someone in the audience who had seen it that was like, it's fine. It's fine. It's not broke.
Hey, yo, it ain't broke. Get away.
But that was Okay, I am going to tell the Roswellian story before we move on to the next set of stories, because that was just so fun. So it was July. It was Independence Day weekend, July 3rd, 4th, and 5th in 2008. I want to say it was 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I know that the 4th was one of the days because I took pictures of fireworks that day. Weird details. And my mom and I went down to Roswell, New Mexico for the Roswellian UFO Festival because Keir was there. And I had, by this point, sent him some cartoons that I had drawn that were my Odyssey side comics, which were like a mix between The Far Side and 2001: A Space Odyssey, just little one-shots. And I was just sort of like, I was so nervous, y'all.
Yeah.
I was so nervous.
I can imagine.
And we go to the convention, and it's just in this small building. Like, it's not a very big convention. And so I had a friend who teased me about it too, because I am black and I am a nerd. I am a blurred. And it was just sort of like, oh, that's your white side showing.
You're going to a science fiction convention?
Going to a science fiction convention. And me being the way that I am, I was like, oh, hell no, I'm going to prove to you that it's not the white side. And I took a picture of every single black person there. And he even said, like, oh, you need to take a picture. Like, if you can prove to me that there are 5 black people at this convention that are not guests, then I'll concede. I took 8.
Is that where you stopped, or was that because there were only 8?
So anyway... It's Roswell, New Mexico.
No, I mean, that's perfectly fair. That's perfectly fair.
So
I'm amazed that the black people in New Mexico didn't just melt being in New Mexico, like, or burst into flames.
We're chocolate, but we're candy coated, so we don't melt.
I've heard you talk about sunburn stories, so
we burn, we don't melt.
I'm glad they didn't turn into charcoal.
Yeah. Anyway, so
sorry,
you're fine. So we go to this convention, and it starts off with watching 2001, and I was just so nervous the whole time because he's in the room. Keir Dullea is in the room, and I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, he's over there. This amazing actor is over there. And so I'm just like gobsmacked the whole time. And we go to after the showing of the film, and I can't remember if they showed the film and then had him do a Q&A, or if the Q&A was the next day. But I did record the whole Q&A because it was one of those things like, this is cool to document, and I don't see anyone else documenting it. And I still need to get the last part of it up on YouTube. It's only been like 2008 minus 2020. It's only been 12 years.
Better late than never.
Yeah. So, anyway, so he does that, and we go to his booth, and we meet him, and we're just talking with him, and he's just really friendly, like the whole time, just really sweet, really nice. And at one point he goes, okay, well, did you want any autographs or anything? And he was explaining to us why he has to charge for autographs, which, screw you eBay resellers. Screw y'all. Taking money from people for their autographs. Anyway, that's my own side angry tangent towards eBay resellers. Anyway, so he's explaining to us, and we're like, yeah, no, that's fine. I understand that, because, again, stuff that you just know coming up with, like, theater or film industry types. And so then I'm like, well, actually, I have something that I would like you to sign instead. And I unveil a comic that I had done for him to sign. And he is like, wait, you're the one who sent these? And so he is talking to his assistant at the table about that, and then he calls Maya, his wife, who is awesome and deserves an episode all her own, too, because she's amazing as well, and an amazing actress, and I'm so sad that you didn't get to go see her. Next time.
Stop making me feel bad for being sick.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
But it was just such a surreal and awesome experience. And that was also when I had Hal, my laptop.
Oh, your old laptop.
And we actually did show him Hal. And this was an Apple MacBook
that cheated at chess.
Yeah, he cheated at chess.
He cheated at chess. He would move pieces without you moving them. Or he would make moves that were illegal. Hal cheated at chess. Anyway, please continue, Kay.
He was one that I had messed with the text-to-speech and voice recognition and optical recognition stuff with just, like, very simple changes that I made because I was, like, trying to just sort of have fun conversations with this computer that can do text-to-speech. And it created an interesting... I don't want to say that he was an AI... but he cheated at chess. And he would talk to you.
There were some ghosts in the machine. I forgot about that. He would talk.
Yes.
It has been so long. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Oh,
I still have his logic board.
That was so creepy sometimes, though.
Yeah, I still have his logic board in a safe space so that if I can ever implant it in something, I don't know what, but...
Just make sure it doesn't have nuclear launch capabilities.
Oh, no. God, no. Then again, he'd probably be a better president.
No argument here.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
Could add 2 + 2.
So that was, like, freaking awesome, and it was just one of those things where it was the best experience with a celebrity that I have ever had. And this is after I had because my dad...
You've had a number of celebrity experiences.
Yeah, because of, like... That's one good thing about my dad, is that through my dad I met Peebo Bryson. Anyway, so, like, it was just such an amazing experience, and to know that this person that you've got high up on a pedestal is a decent human being. Like, not just decent, but a very amazing human being, as we'll get to, like, with when you got to meet him and stuff. Yeah, that's one of those life-changing experiences for me. It's a formative experience for me, so it's an awesome moment, I guess. So that's my rant on how awesome, like, seeing 2001 leading to that was really great.
To the moment where you got to actually meet him.
To the moment where I actually got to meet Dave.
And I want to do a quick tangent just about 2001.
Yes.
Because it is a very pivotal science fiction movie.
Mm-hmm.
It came out before the moon landing. So people who haven't seen it, I recommend you do watch it. And keep in mind that this is a great example of how science fiction precedes science fact.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have so many great examples of practical technology that is alive now, that we use today.
Yeah.
But it came out before we actually even went to space.
Yeah.
So it is a great... And I've heard people complain, oh, it's slow, or it's, it's not super exciting because it's no pew 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 shoo.
Yeah. It's no space pew pews, no visible aliens.
No, yeah, but it's very philosophical and cerebral in the way that it approaches the greater scope of human existence.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of science fiction that I really, really like. Like, I do like the shooty pew-pew, because that's eye candy.
Yeah.
But I also like soul candy, the stuff that makes you go, oh.
The only science fiction movie in recent years that has made me feel the same way as 2001 makes me feel is Arrival. And Arrival's one of those ones that you can't watch more than once.
When you were talking about Get Out, I thought about Arrival as well. And we were talking about that you can't really watch it regularly.
Yeah.
Because Arrival is also one of those movies that it's like, after you watch it, you're like, oh. and then you kind of like have to sit with it for a little bit. It's not the kind of movie you could watch a lot.
Yeah.
And not that it's a bad movie, just because once the reveal happens, you then know. And it's just that kind of experience.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the experience in and of itself is the act of seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
But sorry, anyway.
No worries. But it's one of those ones, because I've seen folks recently kind of trashing 2001, and I'm like,
why?
Because it's slow and it's quote unquote overrated, and
it's not
exactly
overrated.
It's like I talked to you about during Black History Month, where you have to take things in the context, and I've brought it up in other episodes too, but you have to take things in the context of when they were made.
The two things I have a hard time taking in context for the time that they were made are sexism and racism.
Yeah.
Because those are wrong no matter what. Because okay, anyway.
But like there are other things that will happen
in
a show that you're like, really? And it's, well, let's take the time that it was done and why this is revolutionary. And with 2001, you can't deny that without it, you won't have Star Wars. You won't have
Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's,
Well,
actually, no.
You would have Star Trek.
Okay.
Because Star Trek was before 2001. That was Gary Lockwood's.
Oh, that's true.
He was in the pilot for that. Gary Lockwood was Frank in 2001. And
also the name of a parrot.
Also the name, yeah. So, more peeling back the curtain. I mentioned my parrot that I had in our Starlight Express episode, but his name was Keir, and he did pass recently from cancer before we started doing the podcast. But Keir was an amazing bird, and someday, if I do an episode on parrots and why you shouldn't have them, I will talk about him. But my mom got herself the same species of parrot as I had. And this was a girl parrot. We knew this was a girl parrot. It was like, because Linnies are sexually dimorphic if you know what to look for. And Gary was very obviously female. But my mom, because I had Keir, she had Gary. And Gary was a sweet girl as well. She was sweet to my mom.
And me.
And you.
Gary liked me, but Keir hated my guts.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just always... Anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, that'll be an episode on its own about parrots and why you shouldn't own them.
It should be a pets episode. Let's talk about pets.
Oh, we could do a talk about pets.
That'll be our most popular episode. Have you listened to that musical theater podcast that talked about pets?
Oh, you mean every episode when their dog shows up?
That's true.
So, 2001 A Space Odyssey is like groundbreaking. So,
God, I remember when I went up to the University of Utah with you, because one of your old film professors was playing that, and we got invited up to see it, and we didn't have to pay anything, so it was cool. Just kind of got to sit in on his class and watch it in the auditorium. And I remember being in... It's an auditorium, so I'm kind of like in the middle, and some people sitting up front. I remember after it plays, and the teacher comes out, and he's asking his students, oh, what'd you think? And some frat bro... It was just like, it's boring, it's slow, and it took everything I had to not just yell at this guy and be like, do you not understand? Like, what? The kids these days, Kay, don't appreciate good stuff.
Oh, man.
With their cell pods and their iBuds.
Good Lord. Anyway, so now we're going to backtrack a little bit, because Keir wasn't just doing, like, films in the 60s. He did make his Broadway premiere in 1967. So, Broadway! The thing that we cover!
Oh, that's right!
I mean, we cover theater of all scopes, because a lot of our shows haven't ever made it to Broadway that we talk about, but... He was in Dr. Cook's Garden, and co-starred with Burl Ives, which... Oh, what will you remember with Burl Ives?
The name is drawing a blank sheet of paper in my brain.
Silver and gold, silver and gold.
No way. The Rankin Bass?
Yes, he was the Rankin Bass dude.
Was he the miner? Is that what he was?
The snowman.
Oh. I thought Silver and Gold was sung by...
No, the snowman also sings it.
Okay.
But he was in that. That's where you'd know Burl Ives from. Pretty sure. And then
That's okay.
No worries. Yeah, he was the snowman. I had to look it up real quick to make sure that I wasn't just completely losing it. But then he was in 1969, I believe, or the play that became a movie that has a song. This is my connection to musical theater. That has a song written by the Schwartz.
Ooh.
He was in Butterflies Are Free.
I have heard you talk about that.
Yes. So he plays this blind man who is trying to get away from his overbearing mom. And he was in that with Blythe Danner.
A tale as old as time.
He was in Butterflies Are Free with Blythe Danner, and that was something that John Lithgow was on TV with Blythe Danner in an interview, and my mom showed us that. Because,
I remember that.
Yeah, because Keir and Blythe were in Butterflies Are Free, and Keir actually recorded the song Butterflies Are Free on an album that was released 1972.
Which
yes.
You had.
Which I have, yes. I do have that album, as well as some of the singles that came out with it, because they would do promotional singles with albums. And I got the album before it got released on iTunes. Because I got it on eBay.
Super nerd.
Super nerd.
I guess be super fan.
And I not only was able to play it, but like I not only like had a means to play it, but I had a means to play it well, because I have a very nice record player at home. I have a couple, including one with a stereo system. That's
good
really
old analog media.
It sounds delightful. It sounds wonderful. I love the sound of record players.
I mean, yeah, but I'm tone deaf.
And the sound when you put the needle down and you kind of hear that scratchiness a little bit, because that's the dust that's in there. And yeah, I love the sound. I don't love the sound of when you try to play a 33 on a 78 RPM. That's not a good sound. Or the sound when you forget to put a spacer in for one of your singles. I can't remember what the spacer's called because it's escaping me right now. But then you hear this warped sound because the record has room to move as it's spinning around. Anyway, this has been our edition of Record Talk. So,
Record Talk, a topic that Warren does not know anything about.
Yeah, I was watching your eyes just glaze over, and I was like, I better stop. And he also, well, okay, so we're in the 60s, so we're going to stay in the 60s with, I'm pretty sure you saw this one with me, and I will say right now, Lisztomania is weirder. In 1969, Keir played the Marquis de Sade in De Sade.
We did watch that one.
Mm-hmm.
The only part of that one I remember is when Keir was slapping prostitutes. That's the only... Okay, not Keir. Marquis de Sade was slapping prostitutes. That's the only part of that show that I remember.
Yeah, it's I still would say you can watch it. It's a very like his acting is
his acting is great. Like nothing against him.
Anything he is in, his acting is amazing.
Good actors can be in bad movies. Yeah. Nobody said that they couldn't. And
that one was the one that my friend Sue and I bonded over. Sue was the one who I got Keir to sign some socks for.
I thought that's what you were going to talk about at the Roswell.
I forgot to mention that I also had him sign a pair of socks for my friend Sue. May she rest in peace.
He said it was the weirdest thing he's ever been asked to sign.
Yes. I don't know if that's changed. It probably has.
I don't know.
People are weird.
See, and then it just comes into, like, now I almost want to be that person who is the one that sticks out in a celebrity's mind. Oh, yeah, this person asked me to sign a jar of pickles. Like,
Weber.
You told me I can't curse, and then you mentioned that name.
I'm just saying. That could be how you get back at him for Starlight Express and Love Never Dies.
You know what? I'll ask...
Anyway.
I'm respecting your wishes, and the filter in my brain snatched that comment away.
Good job, brain filter.
Good job, brain filter.
So, that's one of my favorite memories with a friend who's now gone is getting the socks signed for Sue. That's just a fun story. But The Sod is an interesting film. Litztomania is weirder, and we will be covering that one in detail because it's a musical, and it's Ken Russell, so we have to.
That's another Who one, isn't it?
It's a Roger Daltrey one.
Okay, Roger Daltrey.
Yeah.
Because I remember you talked about Litztomania in our Tommy episode.
Yes. Pete, John, and Keith had nothing to do with that one.
Like, it's all you!
That's all you, Raj. Anyway, so, in the 70s is when you have Keir, 60s and 70s, because filming of 2001 was in London at Shepperton Studios, which has a Who connection, and I'm not going to go into it because this is not an episode about the Who. Everything's connected, Warren. Everything is connected.
That's what I've been
in
saying.
An interconnected web.
We are all stardust. We are all one. We are part of a grand web that we can barely even conceive.
We are more than we are one.
What's that?
It's okay, we'll watch Lion King 2 another time. So
everything the light touches is part of our podcast.
That'll be on a shirt. So in the UK, that's where you have 2001 being filmed. I want to say Desaad was filmed there. And let's see, what else would have been filmed in... Because it was in like 1970 that he comes back to the U.S. and is on Broadway again. And this is where he plays Brick in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And tragically, he is the last person to see Sal Mineo alive, who we'll probably be covering because he's another big theater and film name. So it was in 1975 that he would have been in P.S. Your Cat is Dead with Sal Mineo. Well, he was rehearsing it with Sal Mineo. Sal Mineo gets brutally murdered, and Keir's one of the last people to have seen him alive because they were rehearsing together, and so they were close friends. And
that makes me not want to make my joke. But it's a good joke, so I'm going to do it anyway. So P.S. Your Cat is Dead? Is that the sequel to Cat on a Hot Tin Roof? To anyone who's seen a cat get on a hot tin roof, it is a spectacle. My childhood cat climbed on a shed that was very hot, and the cat learned its lesson. From then on, the cat would test the roof before getting on it. If that roof was a little higher than it would have been. P.S. Your cat is dead.
Ow.
I love making you laugh.
Just so you know, I've just added Cat on a Hot Tin Roof to the list of not musicals that we're going to be covering.
Fair.
So it would have been in the 70s that he comes back to the U.S. But then during that time he's in I skipped Madam X. God damn it.
God damn it, Kay, you swore.
I did.
So is Madam X Malcolm X's mom? I apologize for nothing. I'm sorry, Kate. Please continue. I will try to keep my interruptions to a minimum.
So, Madam X is, I'm debating how much I tell you about it, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of a courtroom drama a little bit, like,
okay.
Rich lady,
single female lawyer working hard in the big city.
No.
Not getting taken serious because she's a single female lawyer.
No, a rich lady, like, fakes her death and stuff to go on with her lover, and then ends up having to reunite with her long-lost son, who's played by Keir.
Oh.
And,
dope.
Yeah, it's one that we'll watch it eventually when I can find it again. But so that's Madam X. We have a couple of other, like, smaller things that I either have not been able to find or have not been able to find in an NTSB format that we can watch. Blackwater Gold, Montserrat, Kiss is Just a Kiss, Devil in the Brain.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Devil in the Brain.
And those are in the 70s. Those are all TV movies. So, still movies, but on TV.
Devil in the Brain sounds like a great name for depression. Like,
it does.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about, but it does.
Well, I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna use that in my vernacular now.
So then we get to one that you have seen, and that it was one that, because I had told you about the next one, I had not told you about this one.
Is this the naked cowboy one?
This is the naked cowboy one, except he's not a naked cowboy, but he's a hockey player who emulates being a cowboy.
Yeah.
Paperback Hero.
That's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That one was okay.
Yeah,
like,
that one's a good one.
Like, as far I like we talked about, like, he's a good actor.
Yes.
Like, he's a really good actor.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I don't necessarily like the movie, it doesn't mean he didn't do a good job. It's like when we review a show and I'm like, these people were really good. I just didn't care for the subject material or stuff like that.
It's that's another one that I do recommend people see.
I just remember
it was a shower scene.
I just remember the shower scene, and just we're watching that, and I just kind of turn to you and just look at you, and I just watch you kind of go beet red, and then be like looking at me like, "Stop it!"
But yes, so there's Paperback Hero. That one has Gordon Lightfoot sings "If I Could Change Your Mind," which is sort of the song for that movie. And I like that. I like Gordon Lightfoot, but I also like that song. Anyway, so after Paperback Hero, we get a TV show that he was in.
Which one? Okay.
What was your guess going to be?
I can't remember the name, but I think if it's the one I think you're going to talk about, I remember him talking about it.
Yes. Starlost.
Yes.
Yes. And that one, I've seen people rip it to YouTube, but I kind of want to buy the DVD set if I can find it, because I know that there's DVDs out there.
I just remember him talking about how bad it was and how everybody on set knew how bad it was.
Yes. And if you watch it in that vein, it could be a fun watch.
Yes.
Because it's like, okay, everyone was aware and just still putting their hearts into it. And the imagery that I have been able to see from that one is so wild, and I love it.
Wasn't the premise that they were, like, all on this space station that had all these different rooms?
Yeah,
and,
like Arcs, basically.
Yeah.
Different from Ark Survival Evolved. But, oh man, it's one that I do want to see. It lasted from 73 to 74, so like a season. But, that's kind of the way it goes.
That was back when seasons were like 26 to 56 episodes.
Yeah. This one was 16.
So short season even for the time.
Yeah. Like, it's no My Mother the Car, but... Anyway, So we have in 74 we have movies like Paul and Michelle, but we also have one that you have seen, Black Christmas.
I was wondering when you were going to get to that.
Yes, that is 74. That's
a good movie.
Yeah, it's a really good slasher.
That's a good movie, and that was the first movie that I had seen Keir in that I was kind of like, his character's a prick. I just remember that because he plays this musician and he's very conceited, you know, if I remember correctly, his character is and stuff like that. And yeah, God, what was the joke that we made? Like any movie that he's not the main character in, he dies.
Yes, and that's the case with this one.
For those who don't know, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't spoil. Anyway, I think I will. So, people who don't know, Black Christmas is where you get that iconic trope of, we trace the call. It's coming from inside the house. Get out!
Yeah, and let me show you who or what the director also directed.
Yeah, you told me about this before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same director who directed one of the most iconic holiday movies and one of my personal favorites, A Christmas Story.
Yep, Bob Clark.
Yep.
Also Baby Geniuses. And Porky's.
He did Porky's?
Yes.
Oh my god, you haven't seen that one
I have not seen Porky's yet. But yeah, so that's Black Christmas. It had that is some contrasting, that is some range
bodies of work. Yep. Okay, please continue, Kay.
Makes you almost want to do like a mashup of Black Christmas and Christmas Story.
With some Porky's thrown in for good measure.
Oh gosh. So that one also starred Olivia Hussey, who was in the 60s version of Romeo and Juliet.
Such an unfortunate last name. Just for a woman, like, I just feel bad.
Oh my gosh. So he was in that one. Then he did some more TV movies, including the Law and Order TV movie. He was in Welcome to Blood City, which I don't think you've seen.
That sounds like such a B movie.
I don't think you've seen Welcome to Blood City. I have, but it's not one that I remember a lot of. But I have seen that. I've seen so many of these. So sometimes ones that are Western influenced tend to bleed together.
Yeah, well, and it's the case of like you haven't seen them recently, so of course,
Because I've got David and Lisa, because that one is one of my perennial favorite Keir Dullea movies, and 2001: A Space Odyssey, obviously, and then there are some that I watched so much that I probably wore out the DVD. So let's see. Oh, yeah, we're almost to 1978 here, because in 77 we have him in Haunting of Julia, Welcome to Blood City. He was in a short called Mannequin, which I have not been able to find anywhere. Which, actually, folks in the Keir Dullea Appreciation Society on Facebook, if y'all find it, y'all should post that. Or even clips, honestly, at this point, for some things, because some things probably just don't exist anymore, because TV likes to disappear. Yep, just like that. Avengers joke. So in 78 we have one that you have seen.
Let me guess, because I was wondering. Because as we're talking about this, my brain is like a Rolodex. It's like flipping Rolodex. It's like flipping through different stuff that I've seen him in. Is it Leopard in the Snow?
Yes.
Look at me.
I love Leopard in the Snow, even though I'm pretty sure that the leopard was a jaguar in some shots, because it looked a little bit less leopard spotty, more jaguar spotty.
I don't remember this one as well. Mm-hmm. I remember it not being one of my more favorite ones, but
it's one of the better Harlequin romance adaptations. Granted, I didn't read Harlequin romances, but...
And didn't Keir actually get mauled by that jaguar?
That's what I had read, was that he got mauled by the leopard.
Did you ever ask him?
I never did. Keir, did you?
We need to find...
Did you really get mauled?
Dude, did you actually get mauled by that thing? Like... Damn, bro.
Yeah, like... Because I remember seeing that, and because I saw things from, oh, he got mauled, to, oh, it jumped at him and tore his coat. Not sure which is true, if either. But, yeah, that one I enjoy. It's, because I'm not a huge romance movie person, and that one was one that I was like, well, it's a better one, because it's not 5 minutes of face sucking and I have to listen to face sucking happening on camera. Or anything like that. And it's not really like a... I don't know, it's definitely not like the rom-coms that I tend to hate, because it's definitely not a rom-com.
Yeah,
it's just a rom.
I don't have very many memories attached to that film, so I can't really recall much about it.
There was, Keir was
He was a race car driver.
Yeah, former race car driver.
I remember that.
He had sustained an injury that kept him from racing anymore, and he has this leopard, and...
There's a woman, and is it that the woman gets lost?
The woman gets lost and stranded.
And finds her way to his, like, cabin or something?
Yeah, and it's very... It kind of is a little bit of a Stockholm Syndrome.
That's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to say that necessarily in case I was way off. But
no, it kind of is. But it ends well. It's a little bit more believable than Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, so I'll give it that. So,
I mean, have you tried to get an unwilling woman inside of a burlap sack? It is hard. And then you gotta throw that over your shoulder and, like, carry it while they're flailing about. Like, man, that show really does not do kidnapping women justice for how difficult it actually is. That's why things like chloroform and billy clubs exist, you know? Good old trank dart.
So we move on to some other things that he was in. He's played General Custer in Legend of the Golden Gun. He was in Because He's My Friend. Those were both TV movies. Another TV movie he was in that I have a fun story about was Brave New World. And that one was funny because of he had...
Yes, okay.
So this lets you into my hyper-focused brain. He was talking about the workout routines that he had done over the years and how he'd done Bikram yoga and a lot of cycling, a lot of power walking.
The thing with the sticks.
The elliptical. And the thing that really makes me go, oh my gosh, I hyper-focus too easily, was when he brought out a picture from Brave New World and was like, do you know when this was? And I'm like, oh, Brave New World, 1982. It's just like, whoa, no one knows about this one. And it's like, yeah, I do. I've never been able to see it, but I do. I do want to see that one, because Brave New World's an interesting story to me anyway, so that one's another one that's a rarity that, please God, let it fall from the sky and into my hands. Yes, that was a hand falling from the sky and onto my lap. A little different.
I was just trying to do some Foley work.
So we have a lot of TV movies and lesser-known movies in the 80s, going up until 1984, when he is in two movies that you have seen.
So one of them's going to be the next one.
Yes.
I don't know what the other one is.
2010.
Oh, okay. Then
both of those were the same year. The next one...
That's a fun movie.
It's really fun.
I like that one a lot. Like, it's not the normal kind of movie that I would like, and I didn't know what to expect, but I found myself enjoying it.
Yes.
And it has some really good scenes in it.
Yes, it does.
But then, of course, it's also kind of bizarre.
Yeah. Have you seen Starman?
No. but I've heard it.
It's Starman with Jesus.
Yeah, Starman is Jeff Bridges, right?
Yes.
He's in that one. Yeah, because I remember you talking about Starman in its similarities to this, to the next one.
Yes.
But yeah, I haven't seen Starman.
And that one was in Greece, and
it's
the next one.
Yeah, the next one.
Time Traveler. The Time Traveler is the American version, I believe, and then the next one is the Greek version, I think is the name for it. I can't remember exactly. But he plays Glenn, who washes up on a shore and ends up being befriended by this woman, this widow and her son, and then befriended by the widow. And
befriended. That's
and you
She
get the reveal that Jesus was one of these people that washed up.
Doesn't he have a number on him?
Yeah, he has a number on him. And might be a barcode on his neck or something.
It's something along the lines of like, because they obviously come from some other place, some other reality, but they all look the same. Like they're copies of each other, but they have these abilities, so to speak.
Like
resurrection.
the dead.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting movie. If you can find the next one / the Time Traveler,
it's worth a watch.
Yeah,
like that's
really
the thing.
Is.
Like it is a little bizarre and stuff like that, but like
it's one of my favorites.
It's a fun movie. Like I remember I enjoyed it the whole time we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because there were no naked shower scenes for my.
There was
my
a naked
girlfriend.
scene.
I guess that's true. Oh, that's right. You do see his butt.
It's okay, babe. So then you have 2010, which we talked about a little bit, that he reprised his role as David Bowman, and that's another favorite of mine. I actually cry at the ending every time.
Those movies are so different, because like
Kubrick
movies. Filmed it, the original one, I don't know, it's hard for me to explain, because I feel like the 2010 is much more reminiscent of what we would consider nowadays in terms of more like quote unquote modern filmmaking.
Yeah,
and because it's faster paced and stuff like that, and a
lot more John Lithgow.
Yeah, John Lithgow.
And also they did not have the original sets to work with because Kubrick destroyed them, because Kubrick didn't want them being reused for other movies. Because, that's a common thing. If you've got film sets left over to film studio, you're going to
it saves time and money.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Just reusing assets.
And this one, they had to rebuild the set from, photographs of Kubrick's set, which is really cool. And
stage crews are awesome.
Oh, yeah.
They're amazing.
And so, that's another one that I really, really enjoy. And around, let's see, when was it that he founded... So, he moved to Connecticut in I want to say the 70s or 80s, and he co-founded the Theater Artists Workshop of Westport with his then wife at the time, Susie Fuller, in 1983. And he was with her until her death in 1998. And we'll talk a little bit about Keir in the 90s, because Keir did stuff in the 90s. He was in a movie called Oh, What a Night, and I have not been able to find that one. I know that it's I want to say it's 50s-ish almost. So that was in the 90s and 92, and then
but the movie takes place in the 50s.
The movie takes place in the 50s. And then in 2000, and I think you've seen this one with me, he was in the Audrey Hepburn Story as Audrey Hepburn's dad.
Maybe? That doesn't ring any bells.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no worries. It was basically just a biopic of Audrey Hepburn. He was also in Witchblade in 2001. I have not seen any of Witchblade, but he was in that.
I've only seen the anime.
You've only seen the anime? Okay. Yeah, I don't think he was in... No, he wasn't in the anime. It was a
it was the live action that was... It's not CW. Anyway, yeah.
It was somewhere in that realm of...
It's the same...
WB.
It's the same intellectual property, but just...
Definitely not on UPN. And then he was in Law and Order in a few episodes that you and I have watched together. Always seems to play a bad guy in Law and Order.
Yeah. It's work is work.
Yeah. He was in The Lonely Sky, which was a short about flying a biplane. And it was a really cool short. I don't think I ever had you watch that one. But you did see... did you see The Good Shepherd with me?
That one sounds more familiar.
Okay, he was in that one.
I don't know if I remember.
As Senator John Russell Sr. But I don't know if you saw that one. But you did see, in 2008, with me, The Accidental Husband.
Yes, did see that.
I freaking love his part.
His character is pretty great in that.
Yes.
Because he's not in it for very long, unfortunately, but his character is really great. Isn't he playing like a German guy?
Yes.
Something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, and his character's funny.
And Keir's accents are great. Like, his German accent's great. He's such a good actor. Oh my gosh. Anyway, in 2009, he was in All Me All the Time, alongside his wife, Maya Dillon. Maya, again, I need to do an episode on her because she's amazing. And All Me All the Time is a fun one because I am friends with the screenwriter for that one, Susan Sonoman, and she also has worked on The Goldbergs. Like, she works on that one, which is a TV show that we don't have TV. But she works on The Goldbergs. You'll believe me.
Of course I believe you. You would never lie or deceive me for any reason.
This is true. He was also in Castle, which...
I have seen a little bit of Castle. I don't know if I saw...
He was in the pilot episode.
That's right. So I have seen the episode that he's in.
Yep, and that's the only episode of Castle I've seen.
Honestly, I only watched the pilot episode because he was in it and watched it with you, and I was initially kind of intrigued, and I watched some of the show, but then I just... Yeah. There's too much media out there. There's a lot of media out there. It's hard to keep up with everything.
And I meant to talk more about All Me All the Time, but then I got on a tangent.
That would never happen.
That would never happen. All Me All the Time is a very interesting story, because it's like two different couples, and then you find out that there's a lot of infidelity within those two couples, and it's like at the same time as these girls are getting ready to graduate high school and go to college. And Susan does really good work with her shows. I highly recommend that y'all go on and get All Me All the Time. It should be available still on DVD and stuff. That's how I got it. And then we have Isn't It Delicious, which I don't think you've seen yet. Or Infinitely Polar Bear, which you need to see.
Yeah.
Infinitely Polar Bear is a film that Keir was in. He's in it as the father-in-law, I believe, if I remember right.
The father-in-law to Mark Ruffalo's character,
yeah, to Mark Ruffalo's character. He's Zoe Saldana's Is he Zoe Saldana's father-in-law? No, he's not. He is Mark Ruffalo's father-in-law. I had to remember who was who in it because I've not been able to see it since I saw it at Sundance, but like it was one of those things where I went, oh, Mark Ruffalo's in this. Oh, Zoe Saldana's in it. Keir's in it for one scene. Yes, please.
Full stop.
Getting tickets now. But yeah, he does a really good job in that one, and also Infinitely Polar Bear is another one of those movies that tackles mental illness really well. That one kind of hit me a little harder than other movies because, yeah, it reminded me a lot of, like, living with my dad, even though he never was diagnosed with anything that I know of. The mannerisms were so similar that it was just like, oh no. But so he's in that one. He's in Space Station 76. There's quite a few movies that we still need to watch of his. April Flowers, we need to still watch. He's in Valley of the Gods in 2019. We still need to watch Fahrenheit 451, which was 2018, and has, I want to say Michael B. Jordan's in that one. And Fahrenheit 451 is a book that I really enjoyed, and so, like, not just because Keir's in it, but I do really want to see Fahrenheit 451, because, again, I like the book. But he also, very recently, was in The Hunters, which we have not watched yet.
Oh, yes.
Or Hunters, not The Hunters, but
Nazi killing, right?
Yeah, the Nazi killing one, which you're all on board with.
So on board.
But he's also in another show that I want to take some time to say y'all need to check out, called We Need to Talk About AI. It's a documentary that's available on Amazon, on YouTube, I believe on iTunes. It is like $3.99 to get it, so not very much. Y'all need to check it out. It's good. We haven't finished the documentary yet, just because we've been spinning a lot of plates, but
it's really interesting.
It's really, yeah, I'm enjoying it.
And Monsieur Keir Dullea narrates it.
Yes, and that one's out now. Y'all should watch it. Yeah, and like, what we should talk about when you met him in 2012 at Phoenix Comic-Con.
Well, I talked about it a little bit. Mm-hmm. I mean, I teased you the whole drive down. Yeah. Because, I'm petty, jealous, and immature. So I teased Kay the whole drive down. Got to meet him and was immediately like, I can't not like this guy. Like, he just oozes sincerity, and he was incredibly charismatic and incredibly charming and funny, and had all these fun stories to tell about, and just such a genuinely nice, wonderful person. And then I was kind of like, okay, fine, my girlfriend can have a crush on you. So I just kind of resigned myself to that. And but yeah, I don't think it would be unfair to say he is a very underrated actor. Yeah, I think that people need to appreciate him a lot more. They really do, because he is amazing. I do remember something that he, I can't remember if he told you or if he's told us, but I remember a thing that came from him that was his true love is theater. Like, he loves, above other stuff, he loves theater. Yep. And I remember him saying that movies and shows paid the bills, but theater paid the soul. Yes, and that is an excellent Keir Dullea quote to end this episode on. But before we end the episode, we have to do one more thing, but we can't do it through copyrights because Michael Jackson's company still owns the song. Or is it Apple Hill Publishing? Somebody still owns this song. So we need to wish Keir a happy birthday. I could do a Camille Nanjiani. He's cool. He'll be chill. He won't give a crap. You can do it. Just maybe not the imitation of this. Yeah, you can sing it. However, happy birthday. Thank you very much. Happy birthday. Thank you very much. So thank you for just all of the amazing theater and film portrayals that you have done throughout the years, Keir. We just, and for being such an awesome human being, such a wonderful human being. We hope that you have a wonderful birthday, the happiest of birthdays that
you have a wonderful rest of this year, that you have a wonderful year next year.
All the love and sincerity.
All of the love and sincerity
from both
us.
Kay and I.
Mm-hmm. So, you know.
A little more love from Kay, but plenty of sincerity from me.
Yeah. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. So happy birthday, Keir. We love you. You are awesome.
Keir got my wife to sing, so yes.
We hope that everyone enjoyed this episode. We're planning on doing some more Kay and Warren-tines throughout the coming weeks, months, however longs. But yeah, just wanted to do this episode because it's Keir's birthday and he's an awesome guy and everyone needs to know and learn more about Keir Dullea and check out everything he's been in.
Agreed.
Everyone got to go check it out. Tone deaf audience, you know what to do. And
Well,
also, tone deaf audience, all of y'all should go check out We Need to Talk About AI, which is the latest work he's been in.
and raise a glass and have a toast to Keir Dullea and blow those candles out and make a wish.
Yep. That'll be it for tonight. I'm Kay.
I'm Warren.
And this has been Tone Deaf.